From a professional soccer career to becoming a driving force in the mortgage industry, Brian Covey has shown what it takes to find your competitive edge. Get off the sidelines and get in the game. Find your competitive edge with Brian Covey.
What's up, guys? Hey, welcome to a solo episode of Finding Your Competitive Edge. So I'm excited today because I had shared something recently and it really resonated with a lot of people. I've had some conversations this week, and I thought I would bring this to the show as I think it's worth unpacking some more and having some conversations around that. And this was really all around two traits and what I would say two very obvious characteristics about highly successful people. These are athletes, these are successful entrepreneurs, these are also people that are crushing it in their family life, great parents, great coaches, all of these people that we want in our life. I've always been fascinated and curious with what makes them unique, what makes them different. You know, and as I started to study this, a lot of us go down the path of hard work. Maybe they have passion. They are someone that studies and they're a constant learner. Maybe it's somebody that's had experience in certain areas of their life that they're able to draw upon that and they've been successful. And I always think about that, right? Those are all things that are important, right? And we think about people that have overcome adversity and they have tremendous resiliency or grit, and all those matter. But I really wanted to simplify this down to what were two things that we can all have in our lives and focus on, study and learn from these greats, and then go implement things behind them in our own lives that we can have actionable steps to follow those up. So I'm going to dive into it. Without further ado, let's jump into the first one. Man, my coach and I were just having a conversation about this morning. And the first one is clarity. You know, think about both in the Bible and anywhere else in our life. If you study history, you'll see that it's not always the strongest that win. It's not always the fastest that win. It's people that have clarity about where they're going, why they're going that direction, and then the how is the plan, the strategy that's there. But imagine this for a minute. You're headed on a family trip and you're driving, let's say, from Tennessee down to Florida. We pretty much all know the directions to get there. You're going to head southeast, right? I mean, that's just basically where you're going to head. But what if that clarity that you didn't have had you going the wrong direction? You're going south too long, east too long. You missed certain connections of the interstates. You ran into traffic. You ended up going the longer route and it took you a whole lot more time, which also resulted in more headaches, probably spent more money getting gas and food and things along the way with your family. And so you wouldn't want to go that route and you didn't have clarity. And so the result of not having clarity was you took the long route to get there. You actually self-induced more pain. And I think in our own lives, we have that happen. And why I share that with you is think about in your own life where you didn't have clarity. And then you ended up tripping up. You had some setbacks. You had things that didn't go your way. But all the while, you knew you worked hard. You were focused on the goal. You knew what you wanted to achieve. You had all these things working for you that you've been told were the ingredients to success, but you lacked clarity. Think about this for a minute. If you don't have the clarity of where you're going and then moving through the steps of how you're going to get there and really understanding your why, you're not going to get there in the most efficient way. And so let's take a look at what clarity is and let's unpack some of that. So what I talked about here is I really believe it's a superpower. And clarity in many of our lives is going to be what determines our priorities, which then will determine our decisions. And so as you go through your day, you're going to have things that you say yes to. You're going to have things that you say no to. Just like driving, you're going to say yes to this turn, no to that direction because it's going to take you the long route and actually cost you more time, energy, money, all of those things. So we want to know what we're saying yes to and why. We want to also be very, very focused and resilient on what we say no to. The other things I think about here when we look at this is a lack of clarity could put the brakes on any journey to success. The best way to succeed is to have a specific intent, a clear vision, a plan of action, and the ability to maintain that clarity. Look, I know in my own life, I may start with clarity, but as I move through, things change, right? How many times have we gone through life and you start one way and then something changes within the conversation? Something changes about a particular investment that you're looking at. You get new information. Something changes about a new opportunity that's come your way and it looked like this, but as you started to unpack that, you started to realize there was much more to it. So our job is not only to establish clarity and to gain that, but it's to maintain it through our process as we're working towards our goals. So I love that quote there. Here's the last quote around this, and I love this from the 4 Agreements. If you've read that book, it is a phenomenal one. I'll highly recommend. But the author says this: a moment of clarity without any action is just a thought that passes in the wind. But a moment of clarity followed up by an action is a pivotal moment in our life. And so let's not forget the fact that once we have clarity, we must have actions. We must have actions that come behind this, and that moves us forward. And so clarity, we can see as we unpack this, this is crucial to where we start. And I notice this in all of the great athletes and all of the great business leaders that I really have been studying and having some conversations with many of them. Let's move into number 2. I love this one. This is one that you will see this in people before you even hear them speak. You will sense their energy as they come to you. You will know it about them because it's the way that they show up and how they show up differently than other people. And number 2 is conviction. Do you know somebody that's convicted about what it is that their life is about? Are they convicted about the mission that they are on? Maybe it's a product or service that you equate that to in their business, and they're so convicted about whether it's in healthcare and helping people lose weight to stay healthy, to live longer and great lives there through their fitness and health journey. Maybe it's someone like that. Or do you know someone that's so convicted about a product or service in their sales career that they know that product or service will help other sales professionals and customers, the end users, have a better life, that they will make their life easier? And I think to Apple, right? Apple probably has this the best, is you look at their conviction about simplifying all of their products and making your life easier. You see, it's not so much about the product, it's about what the product does. And do you have that conviction about your own life? And do you have clarity in that as you move forward? So I love this conviction. It is a solid, immovable belief based on confidence in God's word, being so thoroughly convinced of its absolute truth that we are willing to take a stand regardless of the consequences. So are you convicted to the point where you're going to show up no matter what? You're going to show up on days that you don't feel like it. You're going to show up when adversity hits your door. You're going to show up when you get that phone call and you've gotten a no, or you've had someone you feel like has completely derailed you. Do you have the conviction to get back up, learn that lesson as you're getting back up, and convicted enough to move forward? I love this. Conviction helps us overcome resistance, both externally and internally. Resistance comes in many forms, but having a strong foundation of conviction allows you to persevere in the face of it all. All of these beliefs, this is what's going to lead you to your results. So the beauty is that through your success and your disappointments, when you have conviction, you're going to continue to move forward. So as we reflect back on these 2 traits, clarity and conviction, where would you rank yourself? I actually did that test on myself. And do a 1 to 5. 5 being you are absolutely dominating these in every area. If you were to ask people in your life, mentors, coaches, people that are near and dear to you, would they also rank you a 5? Write down your score. After you've written down that score, write down the areas that you know you're excelling in. And on the other side of that paper, write down the areas that you're also aware you need to improve. You see, once we have clarity on this, we write these down. Now we can start to move into the conviction, part 2, of now we're convicted about why we're doing what we're doing. This is how you move forward. This is what the greats do. And so I was excited to study these, but also really simplify this down to 2 and share this with you guys. So as you're enjoying this, if this has resonated with you, as always, leave us some comments. Drop us a review. Let us know how this affects you in a positive way, or some feedback and questions that you have. We're on the journey together, and this is all about finding your competitive edge and making sure that you are winning the game of life. Cheers. We'll catch you on the next episode.